That is nasty. But there you go. What's up all you cool snakes and neonates? How's it going? I hope you're all keeping well. So, you guys noticed that thumbnail? You regulars will be worried about Hunter. For all you newcomers, Hunter is currently strangling me. There we go. For all you newcomers, Hunter here is our largest snake. He is a Burmese python. Python bivitatus is the scientific name. If you're interested, they're from Southeast Asia. They are an amazing animal, but they're also a giant snake. Females can get to about 18 foot, males about 16 foot. They are a really large snake. As you guys know, we like to inspect our animals regularly, daily even, to be honest with you. Every morning I wake up, I get my morning coffee, and I come up here into the animal room and I check every animal, every enclosure, from the bugs, beasties, the lizards, the snakes. Everyone gets a wee look in their enclosure, check out what they're doing, how they're doing, and what they've been up to. Now, one evening I went in and I had a look at Hunter, and I spotted that his bottom jaw, one side, looked swollen. Now, the way that I managed to spot that was because he actually has pattern, a bit of pattern that goes down his bottom jaw. Now, when his jaw is normal, it actually sits inside his top lip, so you can't see it. Now, I noticed on one side you could see this pattern, and of course on the other side you couldn't. Now, that was the first giveaway. Something wasn't right. So I left it a couple of days just to see. I spotted just after he'd been fed. So I figured maybe the mouse's nail had scratched him or something like that, and he got a bit of a swollen mouth from the rat that he'd been fed. Maybe that had scratched him. Of course, they're used to that, so I wasn't really worried about it. But then after a few days, it didn't go down, it didn't go away, and I thought, I'm going to have to check this out. So this next piece of footage was me checking out what was wrong with our male Burmese python, Hunter. As you can see there, in that top mouth, there is something there. Now that is a piece of bedding. That is nasty. But there you go. That was what was stuck up in his mouth there. I've given it a bit of a coat with an iodine type solution, I think Tamidine or something it is. So I've given what was there a coat. It was looking a bit raw. It doesn't look cut or lacerated. So fingers crossed there's going to be no infection creeping in on that. Unfortunately, son, we are going to have to do that again in the future because we'll have to keep an eye on that. And as you can see, he's still just a big friendly lump. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. I didn't want to have to do that. You can see that mouth is already looking a lot better than it did earlier. You can see that line that I was talking about, that bit of pattern on that bottom lip is now already back up pretty much inside the top lip. But yes, it looks like Hunter here. It wasn't a laceration, it was just a bit of his substrate. You're a silly boy, you're so greedy. You are so greedy. Now their bedding is perfectly safe for them to swallow. I use the cocoa bedding, the cocoa mix. So it's perfectly safe for the reptiles to swallow in an accident. People say, oh no, you gotta be careful, they don't swallow their bedding and things like that. They don't have anyone to watch them when they're swallowing things in the wild, you know? However, this had obviously become a problem because it had got stuck in his top jaw between his 2 rows of teeth. So they have 4 rows of teeth in the top, and between 2 of those rows, it got stuck, and then it was stopping the bottom row of teeth that should sit in between from going up and settling in to the top jaw. So it wasn't actually swelling, it was a bit of bedding that was stopping him from closing his mouth. Twitch. Good twitchy man. You got an itches? Got an itchy tummies? Right, so this is now Wednesday. I think it was something like Friday. We took that bit of bedding out of his mouth. So we're going to plop him on the floor again, and we're going to open his mouth again. Now I've got Kirsten on the camera this time, so hopefully you guys will get a better view. I'm going to talk through it before I do it because I want the time that I have my hand around his neck and his mouth open to be minimal as possible. So the reason I put him on the ground is so that he's not holding on to me, because if he's holding on to me like he is now and I grab him behind the head, he's got an anchor point, he's got more strength, and it means I have to hold just a little bit tighter to his neck to stop him from pulling back. Whereas if he's on the floor, he's not really got much of an anchor, and I barely have to hold on to him to open his mouth, because when you're holding on to the neck, you're not squeezing them, you're not causing them any stress. Because of his big block head, you're simply just closing your hand enough so that he can't go backwards with that head. Right, let's see if we can pop him on the ground. He's very active and mischievous, which is a good sign. So we're going to pop him down. So here we go. Sorry, son. I know. Can you open up for Dad? Open that up. Come on. He's really not wanting to open it this time. Come on, son. There we go. Let go. Could you could you let go of the cotton bud, please, buddy? You just need to see if there's any rawness. Well, you can see right there. So you can see the little bit of rawness, but it's looking a lot better than it was the other night. You can see a couple of those massive big teethies there. There we go. Right, we want to see the upper part of your mouth, please, son. Can we? There we go. Look at that. Look at how beautiful, perfect that skin in there is looking. Fantastic. So we've just got a little bit on that bottom jaw, and that is going to heal up just nicely. There we go. Good boy. I'm sorry, son. I am sorry. I couldn't see much inflammation in the mouth. Didn't see much drooling either. So looks like we're all good on that front. I'm sorry, son. Dad doesn't like doing that. No, he doesn't. So there we go. That looks like our boy Hunter is all better with some quick interference there. That is why we inspect our snakes regularly. So there we go, guys. A fantastic result there, I think. Very happy with that. I know Hunter's not too happy, but he will be. He'll thank us in the long run. Won't you? My big boy. There we go. That should do. Now, there was also a little bit of droolage, which can indicate a respiratory infection, which Burmese pythons are very bad for. Hunter seems to get one at the beginning of winter every year, and it is now the beginning of winter. It's definitely into autumn here in Scotland now. That sun and that heat is long gone. So he seems to catch a little cold whenever that comes around. The respiratory infections are basically a cold for reptiles, but they can be fatal because reptiles can't cough. They can't get that mucus, that fluid out of their lungs. That's why we cough and sneeze and things like that. So they can't, so they literally drown. They drown in their own fluids, which is why respiratory infection is so serious in reptiles. However, if you catch a respiratory infection at the very beginning, which, like I say, thankfully we inspect our animals daily, so we caught it at the very beginning. All we do when we catch it at the very beginning is we up his humidity, we up his temperature a couple of degrees, make sure he's toasty warm and nice and humid, and every time without fail that gets rid of it. This is actually a week or so after that we got the bedding out, we spotted the early RI, and he is now absolutely fantastic condition. He's doing absolutely great. And you, my boy, you're tip top, and you don't hate us for strangling you. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're beautiful. He is a beautiful man. He's just so handsome. He is just a magnificent teddy bear. He allowed me to do that. There was minimal fuss. The second time when we did the checkup on him, there was a bit of fuss, as you guys seen. he wasn't as willing to open his mouth because his mouth was all fully sort of healed and doing as it should have done. So he wasn't really wanting to open that mouth. But the first time, it was almost as if he knew what we were up to. He held that mouth open, we got it out. There was absolutely no problems there. I love my boy Hunter here, and I was very careful not to hurt him. I will always maintain though, guys, try and get your animals to a vet. If you're US and things like that, your vets are used to dealing with reptiles. Here in the UK, especially here in Scotland, I know of about one vet in the whole of Scotland that actually at least has a clue with reptiles, and that's not even an exaggeration, and he's about an hour and a half's drive away, as I mentioned before. So it made more sense to perform this minor procedure on Hunter myself, which was a lot less stressful than dragging him all the way out to that vet with 3 hours of driving and then going to the vet for him to say there's a bit of bedding stuck in his mouth. But remember, guys, I have about 14 years plus experience with these animals, so don't go and start ramming things in their mouths and things like that if you are not as confident. There's a really squeaky floorboard under me, and I really try not to step on it, but I always seem to step on it as I'm filming. Oh, did you just headbutt the glass, my big man? So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed that. As always, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell button, share the channel around. You guys know what you're doing, you awesome bunch. All that good stuff. From me, the beautiful Hunter here, and the rest of the gang, take it easy. Peace.